Hey, Talo Falava, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I don't think I have a very nice smile, but I'm very, very complimented that you did. Thank you for introducing me that way. That's a new thing to Will's bio. Um, very, very grateful to be here this evening, though. Um, yeah, I'm here. I also want to say that when I should have prepared something. Instead, I'm just going to babble at all of you. No, my name is William Nutupu Giles. I was born and raised on Honolulu, Hawaii. My family comes from, my mother is from New Zealand and my grandmother is from Samoa. So I am literally just like a diaspora chasing islander, I suppose. But I'm going to share with you some poems today. And if you would like to write along, take out a notebook, write with me. I will also kind of throw off some prompts here and there. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to open with a poem called Oral Traditions. This is a group piece that I wrote with a very close friend of mine and a mentor who got me started in writing, Travis Kaululao Thompson. This poem is called Oral Traditions. For over 3.5 millennia, the islanders of Pacifica spoke without alphabet or written language, so spit me a poem with the names of the wind and the rain, the sacred space of your gods and ancestors. The people of Oceania retained all knowledge and all history through the shaping of spoken word into muscle memory. Every story, a poem. So spit me a poem of how the world was made, beginning with your grandmother's face. How every speck of land on this earth was poured from the thick cocoa of her eyes, every island and continent broken only by her blinks. You see, an ocean erases all that is written in sand, so my ancestors etched everything into the tides of their tongues. Now, as a historian, while I retell the tales of my ancestors using a colonizer's English, I am unsure if my act is one of resistance or oppression. I sometimes see my tongue the way an amputee feels the itch of a dismembered limb. It aches when I say my own middle name, Nutupu. See, I was born with the pride of my history, but no knowledge of my language, speaking with the pride of a skin I lived with, but not in. Imagine. Imagine the entire knowledge of the world with what you could remember. In ancient Polynesia, children with the best memory skills were chosen to be the storytellers, the culture keepers. They were handpicked to be poets. Weaving today's events into yesterday's lore, they were practicing immortality and breath weaving generations through the genealogies until foreign diseases interrupted entire bloodlines with death. In just over 100 years of the arrival of the West, nearly 90% of the native Hawaiian population was dead and their language was banned. Only 1 in 10 survived. So a knowledgeable person's death was the same as a library burning down today. We are still sifting through the ashes of a culture once deemed illegal. We are the descendants of the 10% who learned to speak and smoke, and I sometimes still see my tongue as just a colonizer's shovel. With most words, I am unsure if I'm burying my ancestors or digging them up, so spit me a poem about rebirth and redefining home, about the ways your forefathers died and the ways that you have grown. Though I do not sound like my ancestors, I still practice their traditions. These bones just remember their stories, and I cannot escape the colonization of my people any more than I can escape their near extinction. So that I can escape their near extinction, so my own personal culture. It must be more than language, it is practice. So I will spit you a poem without alphabet or written language, weaving today's events into yesterday's lore. I will spit you a poem with all the knowledge of the world, ending with what I can remember and more. I will teach 100 years of colonizers that a language is the most dangerous weapon you can give to a bloodline of storytellers, culture keepers, with a responsibility to speak no matter the split tongues. So spit me a poem about the ways you learn to mourn and love, and I will call your mouth home. Spit me a poem that is more rope than it is stone, and I will weave your story into the library born within these bones, so that our stories will never have to die, so that our stories will never have to live alone. Yeah, I don't have much in the way of happy poetry, so I'm sorry about that. Sorry to start the evening off on such a downer. But it's really hard to be a poet who writes about history and not write about very sad things. Especially, yeah. I don't know. I think that also remembering like the hard things and finding the words for the things we're afraid of, something that's taught me to be braver, and something that poetry has literally given me a voice to do. So I'm really, really, really grateful that I get to be, yeah, sharing that with y'all. I hope everyone's staying safe, hydrated in all of the ways that need to be. Anyway, I want to also share, like I said, I feel weird just yelling poetry at you, so I want to talk to you about my own journey to it as well. Yeah, I started writing in Chinatown in Honolulu at a Mark's Garage. It's just like a little spot where we would gather to kind of share stories. And I want to share, after that one poem, I just want to share with y'all, if you're ever thinking about writing poetry, the first rule is that there are no wrong answers. When you're talking about your history and you're creating poetry, for me, is, I think, one way in which I reclaim the narrative that I've been told. One thing that I've always been told is that we don't have a voice, or that no one wants to listen to us. And poetry told me, too bad. We are going to have a voice and we are going to stand up. So yeah, I ramble. I'm going to do another poem so I don't keep rambling. Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about love lately. And I think what makes it so elusive is that you never know the exact moment when you fall for someone. Is it after the 8th pun that they crack that makes you groan and sigh and choke on your water? Or after the first song you hear them sing, the universe itself splashing out of their mouth, and you truly believe that this is what scientists mean when they say the galaxy we live in is always expanding? See, the thing about love is you never know the exact moment when you fall, but somehow you always know just about when it ends. Like love is realizing that a bird pooped on your head earlier in the day and you have no idea when it, that's not it. Love, I think, is singing. Most of it is learning how to control your own breathing. It is believing you can hit that high note. It is projecting through uncertainty. It is the bravest I know how to be while walking off a cliff. No, that's not it. Love is not bird poop or singing, because love is definitely the Olympics, because they're both an unending slew of sports. So while composing the About Me section on my Tinder bio, I am dancing back and forth on a gymnastics floor, searching for the contortions of desire. Thinking, if I do well, this could be the face you look at in the morning while you eat your Wheaties. Together, we play shot put with our insecurities, these heavy weights, and we are judged on how far away we can throw them from our bodies. And none of this is why I think falling in love is like the Olympics. Instead, I think of the ways in which they both end. When the buildings fall empty and the places where nations once cheered, cried, and broke open together are now just a dirt hangover, a dream dry heaving on the pavement. You see, when a love falls empty, the promises that made this stadium-sized heart cheer, cry, and break open, well, they were always just an alarm clock waiting for you to wake up. 6 months after the Olympic Games left Brazil, the buildings have been vandalized, the chairs ripped out and stolen, those pools are drained and filled with sludge, and these messy concrete arteries, they grow dust. We still do the javelin throw sometimes, only now they are words or promises, emails dripping with venom, or drunk texts on my birthday. These games aren't so much a place as much as they are a memory, these old homes of spectacle, of hope, now reduced to tendons and muscle, training themselves to rubble, just a collection of buildings. And 2 people, swelling like a heart, training for another year, remember what it was like to be full. But that isn't right either. Maybe the only thing I know for sure about love is that I've been wrong every time I've tried to define it. So maybe after all of this, love is just astrology. It is this vast, confusing, and very human study on how we react when orbiting celestial bodies. So tonight, call me a planet returning to myself tonight. I am making a harmony from every wrong turn I've taken. So tonight, y'all, I am Saturn taking off its ring. So all my single planets, throw your hands up. Tonight, when I look for love, I am turning my telescope into a mirror. Tonight, love is learning how to sing, and maybe I am believing I can hit this high note I am projecting through uncertainty. And this is the bravest I can be while walking off a cliff. Yeah. Hi, friends. I'm not used to doing this to a screen. I'm insecure. I need applause. Where are you? Yeah. This is fun. This is fun. Oh, hello. Ooh, dual screen.
Aloha.
Hello.
You caught me trying to play some music because I promise you, and I'm not going to lie when I say this, the words that you have shared are so powerful. You just apologized and said, you know, you just said to us folks that you had come in with a downer or you're making sense. No, sweetheart, what you just did was awaken in me something so that I've kind of left and kind of shut out and ignored, if you know what I mean. The first poem was, oh my gosh, like I literally had to walk away, grab me my vodka, put a little Red Bull so I could drown a little bit of my emotions and hold back my tears because good job to you. You have a way with words, and your words are so powerful and so meaningful that if it touches someone like me with an ice cold heart, it'll definitely touch regular people and regular folks.
Well, I just want to, oh.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that it was really weird kind of growing up in Honolulu when I was told like the only two options that I had were to like play football or join the military. And like I also thank like all of my family members who have joined the military, but for me it was really important as someone who grew up without really knowing what a Samoan poet was.
Military. I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, it was really cool because I never knew what a Samoan poet looked like until I became one in so many ways. So for me, I love kind of like, I now kind of like full-time teach poetry with You Speak Seattle. So if any of y'all are seeing this and are like, I want to tell my story, and you don't think that you have the ability or the tools to, let's jam, y'all.
That is awesome. And you know, kudos to you, congratulations, and thank you for sharing your talent and that part of you and sharing your story. You know, I sometimes when I try to share my story with the world, all they do is laugh at it, think it's a comedy. I'm like, wow. But I love poetry. I've always thought that I have a knack for poetry, but it always comes out. Let me recite you some words with two other poets and see what you think. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Last night down in the islands, I saw a boy walk by me. He walked by, he smiled, he turned and looked at me. I called out to him, come and sit down. He came and sat down next to me. He reached over and touched my, never mind, we'll stop it there because it's going to get X-rated.
I was getting excited. Oh my gosh, you got to send me that poem later.
And not only am I going to get sued, but Utopia Seattle is going to get sued. So we're going to end it there. That's for a whole nother level and a whole nother audience. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate myself, honestly. I enjoyed every single word and the talent, the gift you just shared with us. It was very pleasant and heartwarming, and I hope, and now that This is our way of meeting. Thank you, COVID-19. Pretty soon we will turn 20. But this is our way of meeting, and I appreciate this. And I appreciate you and the talent and the gift you just shared. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to reading more of your work, hearing more of your work, and I hope everybody else that's listening with us will be tuning into you. Thank you so much, William. I really appreciate it, and I know all of Utopia would really appreciate it too.
Yeah, can't wait to connect with you in the future, love.
Yes, yes, yes. Aloha, Kaptai Lava.
Kaptai.